call the August 15, 2023 River Trail School District 26 Board of Education meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. As a reminder, please turn off or silence all electronic devices. And if you could, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is in the back of the room. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mrs. Johnson, if you could call roll, please.
Bianchini.
Here.
Camardo.
Here.
Freeland. Here. Wimpy.
Here.
I'm here. Pistor.
Here.
And Ronstadt. He's absent.
He is absent.
We have a quorum.
Fantastic. Okay, looking over the consent agenda, are there any items that any member would like to remove or further discuss or a question of clarification? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda in its entirety as presented, which includes the following: Board of Education meeting minutes from July 18th, 2023, personnel report, actual payrolls, bills, and checks, the District 26 Treasurer's report, Board adopted curriculum instructional materials, and IMRF resolution.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Friedland, second by Pfister. Any questions? Okay. You can call roll,
Oops,
please.
sorry, I just want to say thank you to, or welcome to all of our new employees that started just recently and have gotten up and running.
Thank you.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Wimpy?
Yes.
I vote yes. Bianchini?
Yes.
Freeland? Yes. Pfister?
Yes.
And Camardo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next up is the board communication. This is an open agenda for all board members. If anyone has anything they would like to share, and while you're thinking about it, I will start. I attended the new teacher orientation on behalf of the board and had a nice opportunity to introduce myself and talk about the rest of us knuckleheads. So it was a wonderful day. It was a great crowd. Everybody was really enthused. It was nice to walk around and introduce myself prior to, and it looks like we had a great staff. So excited. Anybody else?
Yes, I had the opportunity to go to the backpack giveaway for District 26. It was advertised through all of the schools, I believe, and that was an amazing event. So I just really want to recognize all of the community partners that participated in that. It was engaging for the families. The families not only got an unbelievable amount of supplies and resources. It was just a really exciting day to be part of the district, and see what we're able to do for the community as a whole. So just to give a shout out to all of those that participated in that and all of the families that participated. It was a great event.
Great, thanks for sharing. Anybody else?
I did want to see, and Jody, I don't know if you're going to talk about this in your superintendent update, but I wanted to hear about the block, or, thank you, box with dash.
All right, that brings us to district recognition. We're going to recognize the interns and seasonal technology staff. Going up.
Hi, thank you. This is my first time. I will help you. Thank you. Oh, you know what? It went out.
Like that?
Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to recognize our summer interns. Each summer we have a few high school or college students who we hire on a temporary summer basis, and oftentimes they work and kind of help us with our summer projects as just kind of extra hands, and we felt like this year they were just really extra phenomenal. They not only provided a lot of necessary help for us, as summer is oftentimes our busiest time of the year in the tech department, getting lots of things things ready for the new school year. But in addition to just being excellent helpers, excellent extra pairs of hands, they also each had the individual kind of stretch projects that they worked on. So they each were interested in different aspects of their own personal growth in technology. And so they worked with our technology staff to kind of identify what they wanted to learn and what projects they would want to take on. So we've just been really impressed by their effort, their interest, and we feel like they all have really bright futures in whatever fields that they choose to go into. So I'd like to recognize Brandon Dudas.
Give you a shake. Mr. Grimpy will give you a certificate.
Thank you, appreciate your help.
Yes.
And Johan Flores.
Hold on. Thank you, appreciate your help.
And Dominic Zopa.
Thank you, appreciate your help.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add one piece. I was just gonna add, thank you, gentlemen, for all your help this summer, but they also came with us when we did a team builder to Feed My Starving Children, and quite often, I mean, that's not an event where, you know, if you're a temporary person, you don't know people that well, you don't really wanna put a hairnet on and into the business of the boxing and all of that, but it was really fun to spend that afternoon with them, and just for the families to know, like, you're raising amazing kids, so thanks for sharing them with us this summer.
I also wanted to say thanks to the interns. I also wanted to point out that we have Elvis in the room. For those of you who don't know, Brandon was also a show choir expert for Hersey High School. So not only is he talented and works well with the tech team, if you ever need an Elvis impersonator, he may be available. So
We just learned that now? Are you kidding me?
I'm telling you, and he was very good. I do have to tell you, he was very good.
And Brandon and Johan are both former River Trail students, and Dominic is the lovely son of Gosha, who works in our personnel
Awesome.
department. So we are very,
Full
very
circle.
blessed and
Very good.
proud, and just couldn't be happier to have had these gentlemen with us this summer.
That's great. Thank you. You guys are welcome to stay for the meeting. They're not always the most exciting things in the world, but sure. All right, yeah, we'll take a quick break for a picture.
All right, gentlemen, head over.
For our public hearing, can I get a motion and a second to open the public hearing on the River Trail School District fiscal year 2024 budget?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Camardo and second by Freeland. I'll be happy to repeat that if you weren't ready.
I thought I clicked. Oh, to get you. Forgot. Okay, so here, what time? Okay.
7:15.
7:15. 7:15, Camardo,
And
Omega,
Freeland,
and Freeland. Okay, got it. Okay, roll call.
please.
Camardo,
Yes.
Freeland,
Yes.
Bianchini,
Yes.
I vote yes. Fisterer,
Yes.
and Grimpy.
Yes.
Motion carried, we're in, public hearing.
Public hearing. The floor is yours, Dr. Schutzer.
Okay, I am going to present the FY24 budget. It is the plan for our next school year in money terms, but it really encompasses everything that we plan to do for the year. So River Trail School District responsibly uses the community taxpayer dollars to provide a high-quality education to the students in the district. The budget process is long and involved and takes most of the year. Our district first determines what the goals for the district will be aligned to the strategic plan, and then we look at all the programs and staffing, and basically a net zero budgeting process. We also look for grants to see if we can fund any of our programs with some extra money out there, which we've been pretty successful at over the last few years. Next year, or this, actually, it's already this year, we are anticipating 1,500 students at our district. And we are planning, actually, in financial terms, for a $1 million surplus in our operating funds. Operating funds are education, operations and maintenance, IMRF, Social Security, transportation, that's about it. And so we have revenues of $29.5 million and expenditures at $28.5 million. We are also transferring $2 million to the Capital Projects Fund to pay for the infrastructure upgrades, starting with Euclid School. This will include our heating and ventilation systems and roofing replacements. There will be more transfers over the next couple years to make sure that we can pay for all of these projects. So that is why we currently have a large operating fund balance. We've been saving. Our major source of revenue is property taxes, 87%. This budget reflects the 2021 levy, which was based on the CPA from January to December of 2021. Our school district is capped at 5% increase, even though the consumer price index was over 7%. We're anticipating flat funding for federal and state grants. Our expenditures go primarily to the staff, with close to 80% for salaries and benefits. So, that's expenditures. So one of the first things we look at when we start in January, looking at what our staffing needs will be. For this fiscal year, our staff changes are for enrollment. We added a district multilingual teacher, and we also added an assistant principal at Prairie Trail School, who will also be the district special programs coordinator. And that is a picture of our new staff for the year. Expenditures at the middle school will go towards instructional and intervention materials. We are also starting a musical instrument refresh. Will take place over 5 years, maybe longer, but we'll start this year. And then we are trying to improve the learning environment here at the middle school with some investment in furniture. The first place you'll see is this room, our LRC. Hopefully about mid-September we will be getting the furniture, and we will be piloting 2 classrooms of furniture to make some decisions on where we want to invest for the whole school. The elementary schools, the major implementation is a math curriculum. That's taking everybody's focus this year. There are also some expenditures for phonics, decodable text, accelerated reading, and innovation. Professional development is focused with equity, collaborative communities, student-centered coaching, assessment, differentiation, and intervention. And we continue to have a strong focus on technology to enhance learning. Just this last week, we held an innovation symposium where a large number of teachers attended and other staff so that they could learn new ways to teach their students. We continue to invest in e-learning. We also have Chromebooks that go home with our kindergarten through the 8th grade students. They get new ones in 1st grade and 5th grade. Teachers will have the opportunity to apply for the Educational Technology Initiative Grant again this year, which I think helps with innovation. We're fortunate the Illinois Century Network provides us a 10 gigabyte per second internet at no cost. And unfortunately, we're continuing to have to strengthen our cybersecurity to make sure that there are no issues in that area. And then on the capital projects, we have just begun major investments to upgrade the infrastructure at both of our elementary schools, Euclid and Indian Grove. That will cover our heating, air conditioning, ventilation systems, roof replacements, sprinklers, ADA compliance, among some other items. We just started this summer with the roof replacement at Euclid. Next summer, we are anticipating the rest of the infrastructure upgrades at Euclid and the roof replacement at Indian Grove, with the infrastructure upgrades continuing at Indian Grove in the summer of 2025. We've been able to fund this, I talked about before, with savings in our operation funds, which we've been transferring to the capital project funds. We did get $0.8 million of ESSER money. We are also getting about $500,000 back per year for tax refunds previously that we were not able to recapture that money. We sold Nipper School, and we're planning to sell about $20 million in bonds in total over the next couple years. Questions? It is a public hearing, so you may ask questions.
So you're currently running a $1 million surplus budget?
In the operating funds, yes, to help us pay for that, the infrastructure.
Any questions from the board? Hearing none. Thank you, Dr. Schuster. Okay, can I get a motion and a second to close the public hearing on the River Trail School District 26 fiscal year budget?
So moved.
Moved by Fisher,
Second.
second by Bianchini, and this will be at 7:22.
I got it.
We are ready.
Fistover,
Yes.
Bianchini,
Yes.
Grimby,
Yes.
Friedland.
Yes.
Camardo,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries.
All right, that brings us to RTEA comments. Mr. Castle, you have the floor.
On behalf of the RTEA Executive Board and the entire membership, I'd like to thank the Board of Education and the administration for our wonderful ongoing working relationship. I'm really excited for the start of the school year. I know that a lot of your staff are as well. Your 12-month employees have been working tirelessly to get the buildings ready for you. And it's really exciting to see how well that everyone has done, considering that staff comes back tomorrow and school begins on Friday. I'm excited to meet with board members 2 at a time with our coffee with the board stuff. I want to get that started within the next month or so. Information should be going out from my end to Patty within the next 2 or 3 weeks once everything settles down a little bit. So thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, next up is visitors' comments. At this time, I'd like to recognize any members of the audience who approach the board with a comment or question by completing a visitor comment card. Please do note that the board and administration does not respond, and if you wish for a response, please provide your name and number or email for a member of the board or administration to get back to you. Speakers are encouraged to limit their time for others to participate, a 3-minute time limit per speaker with an overall 60-minute maximum for visitors' comments. Majority of the board can vote to extend the time as deemed appropriate per our current policy. Any comments from the public? Hearing none, we'll move forward with new business, and that's education services. Christy and Alicia, you have the floor. Hang her out to dry? Nice.
We are excited to talk a little bit about the Innovation Symposium, which was held last Wednesday. And it was held in the beautiful Prairie Trails multi-purpose room, which was a really lovely destination to have the symposium. There were approximately 60 staff presenters, and the staff came from, I think, every school in the district had at least a few staff represented who were doing the presenting. We had everything from talking about AI in schools to little O's about robotics to how do you find reliable nonfiction information when you're doing, research projects. So it really kind of ran the gamut of the kinds of sessions that were on offer. So I think we had 11 session options. And then staff that did attend, they were awarded professional development hours, and so that was an additional incentive for them to attend, since it was also representing professional development for themselves as well. We had a great committee that had come together with my predecessor, Matt Holmes. He did a great job of putting this together and then having a committee, and so the committee was responsible for decorating. We had some great food that was provided, and then we also had some excellent raffle baskets, which were really fun. This is just an example. This is what the agenda looked like. So I think we had, we opened with kind of an energizer, and then we had a keynote, which was provided by Stephanie Swyka back there. She talked about kind of innovative types of communications and how you can use different communications platforms to reach different audiences and for different purposes. And then we had 3, I think, different blocks where there were usually 3 or 4 different session options that teachers could choose from. We had a couple of repeats, and they were all very popular, and staff learned a lot. Like I said, there was quite a variety of session options. And then these are just a few of our attendee responses. We collected feedback evaluations at the end of the symposium. So these are just a few of the highlights. It's hard for me to see over here. So if you might be able to read, but just I was happy to receive a lot of important information that I can use starting day 1 of the school year. And that was, one of the purposes of the symposium, is not to kind of talk sort of theoretical, which can be fun to talk about with technology, but really, what are some practical things that you can do with your kids kind of right away? The CAMI presentation and Canva were especially, for this participant, really interesting. And Canva is a great tool. You might be familiar with it, but it's a great graphic design tool that not only teachers can use for doing different kinds of graphic design work in their classrooms, but we can also use it with students, which is really fun, and it's a great way for students to practice their creativity and practice communicating for different audiences. The longer comment here was from a new staff member who was really excited to have this, in her first couple of days of being in the district. And she just really commented on the feeling, or the fact that she kept hearing the word family, just kind of in general during her first few days of new teacher orientation. And she felt like this really did feel like a family to her, and that she was excited that we offered this in the very beginning. So these are a few pictures of the day. So there's a few of teachers presenting in the classrooms. And then Patty, I don't know if you can push play on the little short video that Stephanie put together.
AI and its potential applications in the classroom. Our teachers will learn about the different types of AI, how they work, how they can use it.
It was awesome. Like the school day, we have our superintendent here, and then again, examples of some different creators in that. We're going to kind of do a little bit of exploration with that today, but it kind of
What can you do with Canva EDU and why we use this? We luckily have the EDU subscription with your teacher accounts.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was the last slide. So thank you for your support, and we were just really thrilled to have this and have this great experience right even before school started, so thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So do you find that, and you may not know this because you haven't been around as long, so I apologize for this, but do you find that teachers come back and attend this multiple times, or is this really just for the new hires?
Well, definitely the greatest amount of attendees were the new hires, because we do actually require that they attend during the day, and then we also require the second year new hires who have been here for a year to come as well. I think we do have a few teachers that are our regulars, especially our presenters. I think they tend to come back, but one thing that we're shooting around and trying to think of for next year is how can we get even more staff to come, like what is it that would entice them to come back, and so we can get even more teachers to participate. So that is something that we're going to continue to focus on.
I can tell you from a parent point of view, I love it when the teachers use technology to our benefit to grow a relationship where they can show us what they're doing in the classroom, so that way, at dinner time, you don't just get well, how was school? Fine. What'd you do? Nothing. Now I use Twitter and I follow some of these teachers that my kids have, so that way I can see what they've done, and then when they come down, it's okay, well, tell me about this task instead of just what did you do. So I just hope that the teachers realize how far that goes.
Right.
When everyone gets home. So.
Right, absolutely, and that's part of my work, is just to work with teachers and help them see all the possibilities that we have, because we have a lot of great resources here that subscriptions and free tools, and so I want to work with them and help them understand the importance for students, and then because a lot of that is so engaging, and then it really amplifies students' ability to be creative, and which is the fun things to talk about with your family.
Sure,
is all of that creativity, communication. So
great.
Any other questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
You've triggered something here in my brain. Yeah. Is this considered a teacher institute day?
No, this is voluntary.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
I see where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Business Services, Dr. Schuster, you are up.
Okay, so we are continuing to work on the construction plans. We have a team that meets weekly, which includes the architects, Nicholas Construction, key administrators like Jody and Dan and Karen and Bill, engineers, Trey. So through that meeting, we realized we weren't quite all on the same timeline, so we've gotten together and put together a detailed timeline to get us at least till next summer for our construction, and to make sure that we stay on the deadlines. We did find, because we purchased the long lead items, we ordered those ahead of time, the switchgear and the mechanical equipment, we were able to take a step back on the rest of the bids and kind of make that whole process a little more delayed. But we are moving as quickly as we can too. So FGM was completing the drawings today to include the alternates the board talked about at the last meeting. Next week, we will all get together and look at those drawings in a very detailed way to make sure that we all agree on what the plans are. And then on September 1st, we will go out to bid, or Nicholas will put it all out to bid, with the bid opening scheduled for September 28th. And that's when we'll get all of the costs that the different contractors will propose to us. On September 19th, there's a board meeting that we would like to have a committee of the whole at 6 p.m. Over at Euclid, so that we can walk through Euclid and the board can see what the needs are, have some time to discuss it as well. And then once we get the bids, we have scheduled an operations committee meeting a week before each board meeting, so that there's time to review, ask questions, get back with some answers before the board meeting. So we will start that on October 10th, with the board meeting on the 17th. There's also another board meeting in November and operations committee meeting. And then on December 19th, Jody has asked Nicholas to do a presentation of what's really involved in a project, taking it from the very early stages of architect drawings all the way through the final stages of construction. So that's some of the highlights that were on this timeline. We will bring this back to every meeting. Any questions on it?
A thought just came to me, on December the 19th, wouldn't you want FGM?
Oh, they will probably be here too, yes.
Oh, okay,
We will have FGM and Nicholas probably at most of the board meetings.
yeah,
Go-
together.
Yeah,
Right, okay, thank you,
I didn't think it was necessary to have them here today.
correct, right, okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, this is nice, it's nice to see everything laid out. It's nice to see that everybody's on top of things, looking out well into January, so this is great. And is that the entire update?
That's the entire
Okay,
update.
not that I'm just,
For this
I just wanna move on and
Yeah,
not
that's
miss
it.
anything. Okay, very cool.
Hold on, do you wanna add anything about the Euclid roof? Just an
Oh,
update?
yeah, the
update
Euclid
there?
roof, I mean, the roof itself is complete, they're finishing the metal parapet around the building. They will be cleaning up and being careful about students that are there so that it is all safe.
Very good. Yeah.
So are they going to be finishing up the fascia?
Yes, it's the fascia part, yeah.
Okay, so will they be finishing that up during school hours or after school is out? I mean, school gets out at
Yeah.
what, 3 o'clock? So-
During school hours, so it's just the outside part of the building,
Uh-huh.
so they'll be working over the next couple of weeks to get that done.
Why couldn't we have them, that's gonna be a disruption to the kids sitting there looking out the window. Hopefully not, but why couldn't they come after the parking lot empties out? Where are they gonna put all their equipment? You know how full that parking lot is.
They have a crane in the back, that's about all of the equipment they have.
And you don't think that's gonna be a distraction? Okay.
Our teachers are awesome, they'll keep the kids on track.
They'll close blinds.
Yeah, but okay.
And they'll be working on a certain part of it at a time, not all of it.
I would assume also there would be additional costs if they're required to come after hours. I mean,
Yes.
You know, without the normal
We have done
work
that
day.
in the past when kids are in the school and they haven't finished, we have had them come in the evening. It's not our fault that They're
That's
not on
correct,
time.
yes. And we have been discussing some of those items, but.
they should be giving
Yes.
us some type of, credit for being behind schedule.
I'm unfamiliar, how noisy is putting fascia up, how noisy is putting fascia up and, I mean, gutters is noisy, I know that's noisy.
I don't know.
I think so far, I mean, Dan has been pretty well on them and in the classrooms cleaning up while they're working, so, that was part of the reason why we agreed to let them overlap for the week, because the part of the building that they're on, there's not many classrooms, and the noise is very minimal. But there is some, they're trying to get more workers, and they're working extra hours, and so they're working on the manpower part of it.
And are we going to, if the principal or the teachers say, this is too noisy, we can't do this, we will?
Yeah, I mean,
reevaluate?
Karen's with us in all of those meetings, she dictated where they started and which direction they moved, because, you know, that could have been potentially an interference with kids in the back, parking lot, so, believe me, if she is disrupted, she will let us know.
Okay, good to hear. Okay.
All right, next up is the approval of the fiscal year 2024 budget. This is an action item. Is there anything else you'd like to present or say about the budget, or do we just need to kind of?
I think you just need to adopt,
Okay.
vote to adopt it.
Did anybody have any remaining questions? Well, let me get first of all, thank you for your presentation. Let me entertain a motion and a second to adopt the fiscal year budget as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Friedland, second by Pfisterer. Does anybody have any remaining questions before we call this to a vote? Hearing none, Mrs. Johnson?
Sorry, I
Yep.
did wanna just point out that I think that being, I know Melinda always has us running lean, so I appreciate that specifically at this point intentionally, for having, a large operating fund balance, because I do think that shows that we are definitely trying to make sure that we're having a way to fund these projects, so thank you for being conservative.
Go ahead.
I was at a function last week and, State Representative Mark Walker was there. And, I was there as a board member, for the new superintendent for 214. And he happened to read my board, River Trails, and he said, "Oh, River Trails, I know that district. They're the best financially run district of all of the people in my constituency." And I said, "Really?" Because when you said lean, he used those same words. "You're a very lean school district, you are really good at what you do." And I said, "Well, that's our business manager." But still, nonetheless,
No, it's
we are
everybody in
known.
the district.
Yeah, we are known for being fiscally responsible.
It's nice to hear, and of course, it's nice to be recognized.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely, thank you. Okay, no other questions or comments, could you please call roll?
Sure. Bianchini,
Yes.
Fisterer,
Yes.
Camardo,
Yes.
Friedland,
Yes.
Grimpy,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries.
Fantastic. Okay, committee reports. Mr. Ronsa is not here, so we will miss the NSSEO update, and that brings us to Mrs. Friedland, who's the chair of the policy committee.
Yes, and so we had our policy, committee meeting, prior to this meeting, and we discussed press packet, 112. So we, so we're planning to post the policies for first reading. And we'll bring them to the September 19th board meeting for board approval. Like some of the items that we did discuss, and we're planning on reviewing it later, or at least this was, the direction that we plan to give the board. But that we will be, putting off, any changes to policy 825, which was the information about, logos, anywhere on school grounds, from outside businesses, cause we had discussed that at a previous meeting when we were discussing the soccer pitch. So we're gonna keep the current policy in place, which, really, does not allow for any type of logo, display currently. We felt that we didn't have enough information to move forward with changing it at this current time. If that's something that we choose to review in the future, we will do so. And then the only other item, the rest of the items were pretty much updates, discussing, just footnotes and whatnot, so.
No major changes.
Nope, no major changes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yes, sir.
You said you put off the 825 or whatever the logo one is, because you don't have enough information. Did you determine what information you need or you want?
Yes, great question. So we talked about not knowing the exact, we have an estimation for what the upkeep of the soccer pitch will be, but we don't necessarily have full cost yet. And currently, since we'll be taking care of it, we were trying to see if that is just something that we're gonna handle internally, or if that's something else that we will find and designate different funds for without needing to go out. So it's not something that we're not willing to discuss, but we do have to publish our updates to our press packet by September 25th. So we just wanted to make sure that we had something on the books, that we already agree upon, so that we can get our press packet updated. Does that answer the question? So we were hoping that if we need to discuss it further and look into any type of logo, display or anything like that, that we would do it following the actual construction of the pitch.
Okay. Good for
comments or questions before we move on? Okay, thank you. Next up is President's Report. Our upcoming events are All Staff Institute Day on the 16th, which is tomorrow, and then All Staff Institute Day number 2 would be the following day on the 17th. The first day for schools for grades 1st through 8th will be on Friday the 18th, and then the first day for kindergarten at Prairie Trails will be at the 21st. Please note we still have the board self-evaluation at 6 p.m. at Prairie Trails. That's on August 30th. Labor Day, no school, all buildings are closed on September 4th, and then we have our committee of the whole meeting on September 19th, which will be at 6 o'clock at Euclid. We'll walk through the school, and then we will also follow that with our regular Board of Education meeting at 7 p.m. We also have, if you could please take a look at this is for the board members, sorry, you sitting out there. If you could take a look at the spreadsheet that is on upcoming events. We're looking for some board members to volunteer for open house. We can't have more than 2 because of Open Meetings Act, so if you see that second slot, although I did volunteer for the open house at the middle school, so that one is gobbled up. We're looking for someone at Indian Grove on the 23rd.
You know,
I think I'm good for that.
well, your child.
Are you attending the
Yeah, are you
open house at
attending it?
Indian Grove?
I've been there like 7 times, I can be there.
It's really up to you, otherwise I can cover it. Or I can too.
I mean, you guys are eager, go for it. That's great. That is great.
If you want to fight it out, we
No,
can turn
no,
the cameras
no.
off.
No,
you know,
scissors.
We don't want any
Janine,
violence here.
I will take it. Thank you.
But then if you could take a look at that spreadsheet anywhere, you know, in yellow is obviously where we're looking for someone to represent the board. So just email Patty going forward, and obviously she'll fill that slot in. And Patty, can we keep bringing this back to the future meetings so we can see that'd be great.
And you have new shirts there, if you'd like to wear those.
Thank you.
Those are great, by the way. Thank you very much. Those are very nice.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So about this, and I don't know if this would dampen your update, is there any way that you could include this maybe just monthly or every so often with your update so that people don't forget?
Yeah, no,
I put it in my phone, but let's be honest.
Yes, I will definitely do that.
So, okay, thank you very much.
And you'll be adding the PTC events.
Okay, that's it for me. Superintendent's report, Dr. Meckley, you are up.
Okay, first piece of the report was really just highlighting the new staff. I know over the last few months they've been in the personnel report, but I thought maybe it would be nice to be able to see the staff. Again, here's a picture of them from opening day, but just kind of seeing the number of staff at each of the buildings, being able to read the names, things like that. So, you know, happy that Prairie Trails was fully staffed really early on, so Amy had a nice relaxing summer. Euclid, same thing, they filled pretty early. They had a late resignation in 2nd grade, but was able to partner with Indian Grove, who has been very busy hiring this summer. So actually, Mr. Timmons had the biggest table of new teachers there last week, but all honestly, like Mr. Grimby said, a really nice group of new, energetic, very diverse group of people. So it was really nice to meet them and get to know them. In the past, I had been more involved in more of the interviewing and hiring. So now being in this role, I'm coming in blind to the new teacher orientation. I've either seen their name on an email, or maybe I've met them coming into the district office, but some of them I haven't met at all. So it was kind of a new experience for me, just to say, okay, remind me who you are and where you're working. But it's a great fun day. And this is Jay. Jay's our new payroll person. I don't know if you actually have had a chance to see him in person. So I made him take pictures for you. He's been really great. It's been a very nice addition. Some of the highlights that I put back in my letter to families, tried to keep it one page, but I know it was a bit wordy, but you know, we've updated our, and really I think our back to school guide on the webpage has pretty much everything. The links are updated, the school supplies, everything parents hopefully should need is on there. If anybody that is a parent at this table feels like, or anyone out there feels like something is missing, please let us know, because we want that to be a one-stop place for families to at least get the necessary information. Put in some of the important dates coming up, talked a little bit about our district work, and put our district goals on the website. I think that was something you had recommended, so I was able to link to that. And then again, offering one-to-one meetings with parents. In reflection, I really enjoyed that, meeting with parents one-on-one and getting to know them, hearing about their families, and so I've kicked that off and started doing that again. So I got 3 bites right off the bat, so that made me happy. Couple other miscellaneous back to school highlights. Yes, we had the Boxwood Bash on Saturday, and it was so much fun. Rod and Jan McKenzie from Higher Up Ministries, I'm sure you've heard me talk about them before. They are the anchor of this whole event, and Jan has that well-oiled machine, the process. It was really nice, and for me, starting my 5th year, I'm really starting to know a lot more of the community members. So, you know, we saw Danny there, the principal and assistant principal, Sarah and Karen from Euclid were there, Amy and Natalie from Prairie Trails were there, and myself, and then a couple of teachers were there. So it was a really nice turnout. It was, the mayor was there, and I have met the mayor now, so I'm able to like say hello, and then just some other community members from the bridge and things like that. Jan was very explicit with us and said, you all are part of this community. You need to go and stop at all the booths. Here's your tickets, just like everyone else. Don't feel like you don't do this because you're saving it for the families. You are part of this community. So in doing that, it was, again, a good opportunity to engage with different churches, different booths, different people that I had seen around, you know, town, basically, in the engagement. So great time, and the weather was wonderful. We've had a couple of snags in our bus routes this week. We are working on getting bus routes out. The mail has been slow. We tried an electronic approach today, and that did not go well. So we're working on it. I think we corrected that this afternoon, and I did a nice, Kirsty and I and Patty and I, we did tours of the district, putting bus tags in mailboxes so that families would have them for the start of the school. So we're doing everything we can to get everyone their bus tags, and recognize that's probably been frustrating, so my apologies. Staffing. We had a couple of assistant resignations this week, and for the most part, we think we have 4 aide positions open that are almost filled or working on being filled, and then we had a nurse resign. So those are the big ones. A couple of lunch supervisors, some playground monitors, but that's kind of where staffing stands right now. Principals are still, working on hiring. And finally, I just also want to thank Bob for the positive working relationship, and looking forward to another great year. I'm excited to see the staff tomorrow. Different approach this year. I have in the past, and the district has had the staff all piling to one place for kind of like a keynote opening day ceremonies, and so with some of the math training and some of the time that I want to give back to the teachers so they have time in their classrooms, I've opted not to shuttle them all here at the middle school for a short period of time, just to shuttle them all back to their buildings. So I'm going to pop in over here tomorrow, and I'll see the middle school and Prairie Trails, and then Thursday I'll be able to welcome back Euclid and Indian Grove. So it's different. It'll be a change for the staff, but just trying to be mindful of their time. And that's it.
so nothing going on, really?
Yeah, nothing. Smooth week.
Perfect. Okay, we did have one, yes, sir.
Okay, so, looks good, we got 10 classroom hires, I'll call them, because of teachers, assistants, whatever, combo. And I know last year, when Frank was on the board, he was kind of always saying like doom and gloom, you know, you can't find anybody, it's gonna be so hard. This seems very successful, and I think it's a great place to work at, wonderful district. What's been your secret sauce?
Honestly, well, it's probably a little bit of my charm, but no.
Clearly, no, that's probably 10%,
Honestly,
12%.
one of the, I don't know if it's just a change in the climate overall, but the applications have been steady. I think we've been very mindful about posting, interviewing, closing. After 2 weeks, it tends to steady out. And so if we put these postings up and we're sitting on them, we're losing people. So I think we've been very, like we talk about postings regularly, how many days it's been up. We won't put something up if we don't have the time to interview it. So I think that might be part of it. We're watching that a little bit more closely. When we had these last 2 resignations come in pretty late, the first grade and the second grade, the end of July, we had a ton of elementary applications. Like I think it was 26 in a matter of like 5 working days.
Wow.
And that, my guess is maybe just the time of year. They're out looking now, you know, their vacations are over and they're really looking. So I think, and maybe it's a combination of the rate in which people are looking, but us also, you know, making sure that, hey, after 2 weeks, we know we've lost the biggest bang for our buck, so to speak. So we've got to be on top of it. And the principals were great. I mean, even when they were off in July, they were screening and interviewing and doing things like that. So
The process sounds great.
Yeah.
For sure, I don't think I'd change that. Anything on the recruiting efforts, like where you were posting, how you were contacting groups? Or
you know,
marketing
with Stephanie coming on board, she's done a little bit more with LinkedIn, and that we used for the communications position for the first time, and also HR. I had some really unique, different, you get I think a different variety of applicants on LinkedIn and Indeed and things like that. So I liked that platform, and I know Stephanie's been hitting that a lot more regularly as she's gotten comfortable. So that I would say I liked. And then, you know, with our HR person resigning, we had some plans for some job fairs and recruiting and things like that we didn't get to with not having that position filled. But I think we had some other good highlights that supplemented.
Oh, great, that's exactly what I would have expected, so
Yeah.
thanks for making it happen.
Anything on the green ribbon? Or is that a future meeting? Or?
Well, there's a lot on the green ribbon, and we've had a lot of press releases. I feel like it's been out there a lot, but we do want to do a recognition at a future meeting.
Great.
So that we can present it more formally with, you know, recognizing all the people that have been involved.
Completely agreed.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you. Anything else before we move on? All right, we had one FOIA. Thank you, Patty. Future topics, we have 3 basically, sorry. Board self-evaluation is our future topic for August 30th. Again, that's at Prairie Trail School, 7 p.m. We've got the III Conference, November 17th through the 19th. And then the policy on paid advertising for the soccer pitch has been moved to the October meeting. So that is it. We do not have a closed session for tonight, but we will need every board member to sign the budget form that we voted to approve. So please do not leave until you sign all 7 copies, please. And then just a quick side note, today I am being appointed a special events commissioner for the village of Mount Prospect. So I will be working with them on some other stuff, hopefully bringing stuff to our side of town, not just everything over there all the time. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. So anyway, that's being done tonight. So I had a meeting with the mayor as well to go over that. that's it, so, tonight's
Sorry.
quick meeting, yes, ma'am.
I apologize, so for the pending items, for the future consideration, can we drop the review of the other, policy item from the October meeting since, or does everyone still want to discuss that policy?
Well, I guess we don't have to discuss it, if it's not coming, if there's no,
The proposal is to leave it as is, to not change the policy.
Right.
So yeah, I guess, well, we can leave it for October until you get more information, cause I don't know when you're.
No,
gonna get that
we are
reviewed
not,
again.
our proposal is leaving the
Right, the policy as is.
We do not
Okay,
want
so
to
then we
change
can
it.
remove it as a future.
Right, that's what I'm
Yes.
asking, if
Yeah.
we can just remove it and drop it from the future consideration.
Sure.
And if it does come up at another time, we can definitely put it back on there.
I'm happy to drop as many things off the agenda as we can do.
Do we have to vote on it? Like, you had to vote to put it on, do you have to vote to take it off?
Well, there's no recommendation coming from the actual policy, so I understand, it's a great question. But with no recommendation coming from the policy, or for the committee, there's really nothing to vote for.
Yeah, you'll approve all of the updates, changes
Right,
in
in the
the
agenda,
next month.
right, yeah, the consent agenda at the top.
I mean, anytime it comes up for, cause it doesn't necessarily have to be just for the soccer pitch. It could be, you know, if we needed a new scoreboard and we wanted to have it sponsored by Pepsi, I don't know, I'm just making that up. Just cause you're drinking Diet Coke, not everyone Pepsi.
I'm just saying that we voted to put this on the meeting for the agenda in October. It was a vote, like, we now.
Consensus.
Right, so we don't,
Consensus.
right, we don't
vote
vote on it, but it's if enough people agree, then we can continue the discussion. I know,
So it's a consensus to make sure that enough people on the board
Right.
wanna make it a topic.
But you're saying that, so we had a consensus to put it on the topic, but you don't have to have a consensus to take it out. I'm not saying that anybody's not.
Well, the
consenting to take it
consensus
out,
was to
but like-
punt it to the committee. And the committee basically met.
No, I think the consensus was to bring it to the October meeting, I could be wrong, wasn't it? To talk about it during the October meeting, that was what was asked in the consensus.
right, so Patty, do we have to do something or no?
So basically, it was brought to the policy committee, but you still have to honor those 3 individuals that are requesting to discuss it further. So you should still bring it to an October meeting.
Perfect.
And then at that point, the policy committee can say, we agreed on not bringing it, making any changes. You can have a discussion about it, and then maybe there'll be 4 people that wanna change it, so then it might have to go back to the policy committee.
Is there a reason it has to be October? I mean, could it be?
That was.
That was what we had agreed
That
upon.
was what you agreed upon.
Okay. Alright.
Well, I
Thank you
thought
for
October
pushing
now
back.
because you said you needed to get more information in September. But did I misinterpret that?
I think she was summarizing very briefly the conversation, but it wasn't that we literally need to collect more information to make a decision. Our decision is that we're leaving the policy as is. That was part of the discussion, but I think it was
Right, that was
too
part
much
of
of a summary. I don't know.
Down in the weeds, I apologize, yeah, if I did.
Well,
It was,
'cause we
it was
didn't
one of-
know-
that was one of the
So
supporting.
we still don't know
factors.
how much the maintenance is gonna cost.
Right, we don't even have it up, correct. Right.
Yeah, we probably won't know by October, because we'll have to have, I mean, I don't know if it'll even be up by the end. It
Well,
won't be up by the October meeting, it might be after that.
That's fine, we can talk about it in April.
Well, yeah, and this was all exactly the conversation that we had, and that's why we just bring the recommendation.
Sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to confuse it, I just want, as like a future point of order, if something's on the future topics, you can't just, I would think in another meeting, be like, oh, we dealt with that, let's take it off the future topic, right, without some sort of
That's fine. No,
consensus.
Okay, great. So we'll discuss it in October. Whether we've got the information or not. Everyone's okay with that?
Yes.
All right, then I will entertain a motion in a second to adjourn the regular Board of Education meeting at 8:05.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Friedland, second by Camardo. Can I get a roll, please?
Shoot. Bianchini?
Yes.
Friedland?
Yes.
I vote yes. Historic?
yes.
Camardo?
Yes.
And Green.
Sure, yes.